So what do you think the flow was between ECB and Elon? Because Elon broke the Fed, right? Elon was the center point of the Fed.
No, it came before.
Okay.
What happened is, don't forget, Elon is applying to be a part of the US carbon credit system, a new one that's being built. So how better can you do this by saying, if the US government said to him, hey, listen, you can't have all this Bitcoin and apply for this permit, and or he thought he was going to get questioned about it, there's no better way than create more FUD around it, get the market to clean it up, and then he's able to just move forwards once the narrative's cleared. I think he knows what he's doing, and it was done on purpose, to get that credentials that he needs to be part of that, because Tesla's a large part of their revenues of these carbon credits, it's government subsidies, and also he also knows that it's a red herring. I mean, he's not stupid.
Okay, I mean, you say he knows what he's doing, and you say, I think what you're alluding to is that he's very calculated in his approach. He's not. What do you make of him and Dogecoin? I mean,
he's calculated.
I used to think that the Dogecoin thing was a game, but I mean, this game's going very far now. This is
It's not a game, and the reason being is he's figured out pretty quickly that anything can now have value in this world, right? If a bunch of people think it's got value, and these cryptocurrencies have all these attributes of being able to exchange things, buy things with them, store things, and there's a joke one that happens to be a meme. Elon understands the meme economy, right? He's really into it. So he figures out, how funny is that? You take the worst ever coin, which is a joke, you then start adopting it, and then buy a bunch of it, and then you would basically have your own Elon coin.
Crazy.
Now, he could then also have it for streaming payment system within Tesla. There's a number of things you can do with it when you have your own coin. He could raise capital because of it. So I think he's figured out pretty quick that if you have your own currency, you can be king.
But then if you're going to have your own currency, why not have your own currency that's technically very sound?
Because it had already been adopted by the masses. So millions of people are using it, and they think it's amusing. How much publicity does that give him for his own currency? It's great.
So
now, whether it works or not.
Are you saying, am I hearing you right here? Are you saying that you would consider investing in Doge?
I own Doge.
You own Doge?
Yeah.
Good. Raoul Pal just said on Crypto Banter that he owns Doge. My producer says we all do. Am I the only guy?
Everybody does. Find me somebody who doesn't. We all do, because it's fun.
So you think that this Dogecoin is actually it's a serious thing? It's a real thing?
I have no idea. So I'll trade it like a call option. I have a small position in it because it's fun to see what happens with this. Because we don't know what the outcomes are. We don't. So it could end up being something massive. I mean, Mark Cuban, he started accepting it as payment for Dallas Mavericks merchandise and tickets. So now it's got payments, it's got millions of people invested in it. So what happens if Tesla builds an application? Now it's got application, an exchange, and investors. You've got an ecosystem, a network, and that's valuable.
Wow, okay. Is your position in Doge significant? I mean,
no.
The
smallest position I've got.
The smallest position you got. Okay, so what I'm getting the feeling here that you're actually an altcoin degen. I mean,
I'm not a degen because I don't trade them.
No, I mean, yeah, but you're a degen. I mean, if you're holding Dogecoin, hold on, just wait. I remember that in the beginning you only spoke about Bitcoin. You were only a Bitcoin speaker. Then I remember that you had the epiphany that ETH was actually just another network, and it was a cheaper network on a relative basis than Bitcoin. I remember that tweet storm. We actually covered it on the show. And then I remember that you started asking people, you said to people, I'm going to put a small part of my portfolio into alts. What alts should I be buying? How does your portfolio look now from a breakdown? How much is in Bitcoin? How much is in ETH? And how much is in degen?
Yeah, first you need to understand, why was I doing that, right? And in traditional markets, once an established trend takes place, you move out the risk curve. So for Bitcoin being like government bonds, and then you go to Ethereum, which is like corporate bonds, and then you go to junk bonds, which is all of the other stuff, right? And then private sector lending. That's a risk curve. So I'm just moving out the risk curve because the trend's established. And I know that in a bull market, ETH will outperform Bitcoin and alts will outperform ETH. Now, the ETH Bitcoin bet is easy because we know ETH, it's a giant, it's got massive network adoption, at least twice the rate of the network adoption of Bitcoin. And we've seen the whole rise of DeFi, NFTs, everything on top of ETH. So it's a great bet. So I'm 55% ETH, 25% Bitcoin, and 20% alts. So I got to that alts thing. Why did I ask that question? I wasn't asking, I didn't care who shilled me anything. I wanted to see which coin. Go on.
You wanted to see consensus. You wanted to see what the masses were talking about. You wanted to gauge social sentiment.
Yeah, and network effects, right? You wanted to see what networks are stronger. So that was the start. So I picked a basket of the bigger ones of those and just took an equally weighted basket. I've got no clue whether Cardano is going to work or Polkadot's going to work and get network adoption. Literally have no idea. So I don't take a bet in that. I just took a bet in a bunch of them, figuring that if we're in altcoin season, this stuff's going to go up 5x that Ethereum goes up.
Talk me through the process. So I remember the tweet. I actually made a portfolio for you. I'm going to try and get the portfolio online today. I tweeted it at you. I said, hey, we've made your portfolio. This is what you should be buying. I'm actually very interested to know how that portfolio is doing, by the way.
I had 11,000 replies to that tweet.
Okay. So you took 11,000 replies. By the way, I know you think that that's good, but Sheldon had 11,000 marriage propositions today because so, you get 11,000 replies. What do you do then? And how do you build an altcoin portfolio from that point?
I basically kind of just perused through that for a few days, saw what was coming up a lot, wrote them all down in a list, went to CoinMarketCap, took a list. No, I actually even easier. I went to the brokerage that I was using, took a list of which ones I could trade from that were larger in market cap and just bought them. And it was as simple as
the reason why you went for larger in market cap, because you said, I want liquidity. In the event that I want to trade out of it, I want liquidity.
No, I just thought, I don't know anything about these other ones and how speculative they are, but I know there's serious money and stuff within the Polkadot ecosystem and the investor base and stuff like that. So nothing complicated, just like a relatively bunch of blue chips in this space. But then after that, I've been going more degen in other stuff.
You have been going more degen in other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your, I'm just having a look here to see if that portfolio is still live. Let's talk about the big cap altcoins that you bought in your altcoin portfolio. You mentioned Polkadot.
Yeah.
Have you done enough research? Do you know enough about the parachains, or you just bought this purely on sentiment and on volume?
Purely on sentiment and volume, and I wanted a bit of DeFi. I wanted a bit of exchanges. I wanted a bit of protocol, so I just did a basket. So I had obviously at top level, I kind of know, was this a serious project or not? So you are kind of right. But a bunch of these I don't have. Like I would never buy bird money.
Yeah, so I made this for you back then, and even after this correction, that portfolio is up 125% since I made it for you. I put in Chainlink, Polkadot, Arweave. What I did was I tried to mix some big ones and some small ones for you. And you can see at the time, the entry price, for example, on Terra was 92 cents. I actually created that, and that portfolio is up 124%. It was up much more, but obviously with the correction, that's what happened. It's ironic. It's been on our website. We actually log all our calls on our website so that people can't call us out afterwards for saying, you didn't tell us, or you did tell us, or you shouldn't have told us. We're accountable. So we have it here on our website. You can go and have a look at it. It's Crypto Banter calls. That's pretty much where it is. It's the portfolio I made for you back then when you tweeted. I'm interested to know how this portfolio did relative to your actual portfolio that you bought.
So I'm trying to think, because I haven't looked at it since the correction. I don't check my P&L on this. But at peak, it was probably up 285%. So it's probably up still 150.
So more or less the same. All right, so let's talk about the coins. Polkadot, what else is in there?
Well, but there's Aave and there's synthetics and there's sushi and there's just the usual stuff. Cardano. There's nothing that people go, oh my God, Raoul Pal owns this. There's some other stuff that I'm, more interested in, but that stuff is just the standard shit that everybody's got that shills at me all day on Twitter.